What's your best wrong place, wrong time moment? I accidentally shouted, "Don't marry him." Okay, so let me explain how I ended up in this mess. My best friend picked this huge wedding venue that had multiple chapels, all holding ceremonies at the exact same time. I was late because my GPS totally betrayed me, and I ran across the parking lot, my shoes slipping against the pavement, sweat trickling down the back of my neck. I checked my watch, already 15 minutes late. He was gonna kill me. As I got to the doors, I saw this big group of people crowded near one of the chapels. Relief washed over me. This had to be it. Without double checking, I burst through the chapel doors, completely breathless. Everyone inside was focused on the front, the bride and groom standing quietly with their backs to me, their hands joined at the altar. It was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. That's when my brain got this horrible idea. My friend and I always pranked each other, and I thought shouting something funny would lighten the mood and make up for me being late. So, with a huge grin, I cupped my hands around my mouth and yelled loud enough for everyone to hear, "Don't marry him." My voice echoed off the chapel walls. I waited for laughter, but the silence only grew thicker, colder, heavier. My smile faded as the bride spun around, her face pale like she'd seen a ghost. Her bouquet trembled in her hands. The groom looked completely stunned, his jaw slack, confusion quickly morphing into anger. That's when my stomach sank. This wasn't my best friend's wedding. These people were total strangers. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Wrong wedding, I stammered, my cheeks burning hot as the realization hit me, but it was way too late. The bride stepped away from the groom, eyes filling with tears. She started breathing fast, like she was about to panic. A woman who I assumed was the bride's mom gasped, her hand covering her mouth. Whispers spread through the crowd like wildfire. "What do you mean, don't marry him?" The bride shouted at me, her voice shaking. "Do you know something? Is there something he's hiding?" Everyone's eyes drilled into me, waiting for an answer. The groom turned pale now too, tugging nervously at his collar. No, it was just a joke," I pleaded. "I thought you were someone else, honestly." But she didn't listen. Her eyes narrowed suspiciously as she looked back at the groom, who was now dripping sweat and avoiding her stare. "Is there something you need to tell me?" she demanded, her voice breaking. He shook his head too quickly, making him look even guiltier. She let out a strangled sob and stormed down the aisle, pushing past me without looking. Guests jumped up from their seats, angry murmurs filling the air. A few older relatives were yelling things at me, and one huge man, who I guessed was probably the bride's father, started moving toward me, his fists clenched. I turned and ran for my life, stumbling back outside. My heart slammed in my chest as I leaned against the chapel wall, gasping for breath. What had I done? My prank had just destroyed someone's wedding, and maybe their entire future. I felt sick thinking about how embarrassed and hurt they must be. I eventually found the right chapel, sneaking in quietly and trying not to make eye contact with anyone. My friend saw me and gave a confused shrug. I spent the whole ceremony staring at my feet, drowning in shame, barely paying attention. But here's the twist. A couple of days later, I got a message request on Instagram from someone whose name I didn't recognize at first. When I opened it, my stomach flipped. It was the bride from that disastrous wedding. My heart raced as I nervously read her message. She told me she'd been furious at first, but realized later that something felt off. After confronting her fiancé, she found out he'd been hiding serious debt and cheating on her for months. My stupid, impulsive joke ended up giving her the courage she needed to call off the wedding. She actually thanked me and apologized for the angry crowd. "You probably saved me from years of pain," she wrote.